The Case of the Dog Camp Mystery is basically an 80-page advert for adopting dogs from shelters, which is not a bad thing. The narrative, honestly, is not the best. It kind of was for most of it, and then obviously the ending happened, and I wasn't happy with it. I won't explain why, but I will say that it just felt like a bit of a cop-out. But the journey was good if the destination wasn't. I rather enjoy the cover of this one. I have to say I chose to read this one next because the cover caught my eye, and Mary-Kate and Ashley are at a camp where you're allowed to bring your dogs. And interestingly, Clue is actually misbehaving, and it's unusual that anything in Mary-Kate and Ashley's world is less than perfect. So the fact that they decided to write that Clue was misbehaving, I thought worked quite well. And while they're there, they give the special dogs red bandanas. I rather like the fact that the front cover mirrors this. There is no Labrador puppy in it. And there are dog classes, so they can actually train the dogs to have manners, as the classes are for, which I thought was quite sweet. And there are some pretty good tips on how to train your dog, so it's actually quite a practical book as well. Although you do have to suspend disbelief that two kind of 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds, I'm not entirely sure how old they're meant to be in this stage of the book, are allowed to just be left on their own with their dogs at camp. With regards to the mystery, something happens to Clue. And I will say just the whole thing about why Clue is misbehaving wasn't really fleshed out very well. What actually happened to Clue was a little bit of a cop-out as well. So I feel like the actual narrative, while I enjoyed the journey, it was just a bit of a letdown in the final few chapters. And I won't say any more than that about it because I don't want to spoil it. As obviously, if you are reading the New Adventures books, then I do recommend you read it along with the rest, but by no means isn't my favourite. The cover, however, is rather gorgeous. And there's the back for anybody who's interested. And we do indeed have the cards in this one, which are a version of the front cover and the version of Clue in her red bandana. So I think they're pretty perfect for this. And of course we have the decent writing size, smallish chapters, ideal for the target audience. The vocabulary is very good. There are some detective terms that are explained quite well. We have a decent mix of characters. In terms of the actual writing, it's not too bad, but the actual destination wasn't that great. Definitely not my favourite, but I didn't mind it.